Welcome to Beyond Ordinary, where we explore powerful strategies and life-changing insights to help entrepreneurs and ambitious individuals achieve extraordinary success. I'm Myles Youngblood, your guide to leveling up your life and business. And we are going to be talking about all things financial literacy and cryptocurrency today. I brought on my guy Lamont here with me today. How you doing today, good brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Everybody's tuning in. Hope you learned something from this podcast.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to hopefully drop some gems on them today. Actually, not hopefully. I know we're going to drop some good gems today. But to start off, do you think that Bitcoin will allow people to unlock financial freedom?
Um, I think that Bitcoin, in a sense, is acting as a catalyst to unlocking financial freedom. I'm not gonna say, all right, if you put $1,000 into Bitcoin, that's gonna create generational wealth. I think it's opening the door as allowing for the technology and especially around a lot of altcoins, that's providing a lot of alternative investment opportunities for individuals. I think the traditional financial markets, they have been good. They've been good, but not everyone has as much access to them. So a lot of people are looking for alternative ways to invest their funds and to reach their financial goals. And I think Bitcoin is opening the door to that, and it has
Mhm.
created generational wealth for a lot of individuals, especially who got in early. But Bitcoin is opening the door for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then you just mentioned like get in early. Do you think it's too late for people to get in right now or to make
Um,
generational wealth?
for something like Bitcoin, you're not gonna get those gains. Like how some people say, I turned $500 into $500,000. You're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna get that from Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is gonna go up. I predict it. It's not an official prediction. Not financial advice. I always gotta remember to say that. I think it's gonna hit about what?
Definitely.
I think it's gonna hit about 150K this year, 150K. So a lot of times when you see people like, and Myles, I always say this, when you hear about like people who try to like get rich off of crypto, when it hits the news stories, like the news sites, Fox, CNBC, and all that, it's kind of too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's
100%.
it's kind of like too late at that point. If you want to talk about like getting rich off a coin with a minimal amount of investment, it's kind of too late. Now you can still gain wealth by like dollar cost averaging in, and you can still earn funds, but you're not gonna do like that lottery size winning. You know, once it hit the news, it's like everybody knows about it now. So it's like the gains already sucked out of it.
Yeah, that is pretty much what I've been looking at recently for like the top, like when Coinbase starts hitting number one in the app store, stuff like that. It becomes mainstream. It's all over Instagram. I have people hitting me up about it. That's when I know, like, okay, like when my parents start reaching out to me talking about, oh, I heard this about Bitcoin and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right,
that's
I
the time
think
to get out.
I know. It's just so crazy how the markets work, and that it's based off of psychology. You know what I mean? Like when everybody's like, I think Warren Buffett has this saying like, when everybody's greedy, be fearful. When everybody's fearful, be greedy. So like when everybody is being greedy and everything is up, I'm gonna be selling, and I know people are gonna look at me crazy because they're like, oh, why would you sell? Da da da. Everything's running up, but little do they know that I have been buying every single week, dollar cost averaging from 2022 till now. So it's like
Yeah,
I bought at 15K, 18K, 20K. So I don't. So me selling at 100 or 150, like you said, your
yeah,
target, like I already made a substantial amount of money. You know,
yeah,
but you did mention something about how you're not going to get those big gains like those 100x gains in Bitcoin. And I agree, it's pretty
no.
much too late for that. You know, you have to go down to the altcoins and whatnot. So are there any altcoins that you're looking at for those huge gains over the next year or so?
All right. Not financial advice once again, but a particular altcoin. I'm not saying you're gonna get the 100x gain off this, but a lot of hype has been around XRP lately.
Yep.
Ripple. Right now you have a government who's more pro crypto coming into who came into power. XRP has a lot of partnerships with banks. They're recognized by central banks around the globe. So when you look at like a lot of the altcoins out there and the companies behind it, Ripple or XRP has have one of the strongest cases for moving forward. So I think that's definitely a coin that right now is trading at about, last time I checked, was about $2.20 or something like that, $2.50. Um,
Mm.
I think that's a coin that has a lot of runway. Um, I think it is. that has ability to 3 or 4x definitely before the end of the year. Once again, not financial advice. Um, Another coin, what I think might actually get a boost bigger than it has gotten over the past few years is Dogecoin. Myles, let me tell you a
Mm,
story about Dogecoin.
go
I'm
ahead.
a guy. I graduated college with a degree in finance, right?
Same here.
Dogecoin, yeah. I tell all my friends this. Dogecoin kind of goes against everything you're taught in college about like investments, because the coin itself was
It's just a
created as
meme
a
coin.
joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was created like as a joke, as a meme, right? And I remember when I was in college. No, this is like a couple of years after I graduated. I put like $200 into Dogecoin. This when the only people who knew about Dogecoin was people in crypto, right? So I put like $200 in the Dogecoin. It hit about 5,000 or something like that. I took it out. Now, when Elon Musk started talking about Dogecoin, if I kept my money in, it would have been about 50, 60,000. And I think about that regularly, right? Because, like how we talk about, like, when everyone's fearful, be greedy. When everybody's greedy, be fearful. When
Yep.
I saw that going up and everybody's buying up, I was like, all right, let me hurry up sell this. Because I was like, I knew it was a meme, so it's like, why would this continue to go up? And it's like, people just kept
Yeah.
buying it, buying it. But when I saw friends who like never knew anything about crypto asking me about Dogecoin and what they want to buy Dogecoin, I was like, all right, yeah, so it's kind of dead right now. Like,
Yeah. It's time
yeah,
to go. Time
yeah,
to
it's time
go.
to get out of that. But yeah, like I look at Dogecoin because Elon Musk, he's locked in with the president right now. Elon Musk, you might
Facts.
as well call him a politician at this point. Like, like he's doing
Yeah.
side quests. So they started the Department of Government Efficiency. Like, come on now, we all know that's a play on Doge. Like, come on, that's
Yeah.
just yeah. So I think Dogecoin, just by virtue of being connected to Elon Musk and his name, I think that has a little bit more runway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say XRP, Dogecoin, they definitely had a lot of runway. Ethereum, even though Ethereum hasn't been getting as much of an increase as a lot of the altcoins in
I
this
know.
season,
It's been
yeah,
pissing me off. It
yeah,
hasn't done anything.
yeah. Ethereum, just I don't know what's going on with it. I really have to do more deep dive into like what's going on there, but Ethereum is definitely one I would say, um, due to the ecosystem and all that, it's definitely probably a longer term hold. But I'll have to do more research to find out exactly what's going on there.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, pretty much all those coins you mentioned, I pretty much hold too. I actually just bought a little more XRP. And it's so crazy because like I had bought some like I think in January of 2024. I bought like just a little bit, maybe like I don't know, maybe like 1,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like started buying other stuff. I actually completely forgot that I
Oh
had
yeah.
XRP because I had bought it a year ago. And so when everything started going up, I remember I was like, damn. Or when XRP started going up, I was like, damn, like I kind of wish that I had bought XRP. And then I started scrolling down like kind of towards because I think it's like it was filtered based on like how much I hold, right? And it
Yeah.
was like my smallest position. So I just
Yeah.
had to scroll a little further and I was like, oh shit, I have
Yeah.
XRP. So yeah, definitely good to see XRP in there. We got some good you got some good picks in there. Hopefully, obviously this is not financial advice for anybody, but like we talked about on this show, like the big gains aren't in, the altcoins, but and not necessarily Bitcoin. However, for those of you that are listening, that you need to understand that there is risk involved
Oh yeah. Definitely.
with cryptocurrency in general,
Definitely.
but specifically altcoins, and especially once you get to like the meme coins, like there's a new
Oh yeah.
meme coin popping up, like Trump coin. You know what I mean? Like I actually
Yeah.
bought a little bit of Trump coin, but I looked at the tokenomics. I'm like, oh, this is 100% going to rug. He owns 80% of the supply. There's no way that this does not rug. But
Yeah.
I want to kind of get your take on the Trump coin.
Boy. This that Trump coin is really quite interesting, right? Because me and a friend, we actually bought some. But here's the thing, and this is why I say you got to be really careful when you're buying like meme coins and cryptocurrencies on certain sites. So we bought some Trump coin. Turns
Mm,
out we bought the wrong Trump coin because what they did, and this what people do in crypto. Like this what some scammers do. If they see a new crypto that's out that's probably going to run, they will create like a duplicate of it to rug that, basically just piggybacking off of the hype of the original coin. So
Yeah.
that was it. Like we invested basically in the wrong token. Yeah, but Trump, that was really quite interesting for him to do that. And, he dropped like Melania dropped her coin the day after, or like a couple of days after. And Donald Trump, like he's a really interesting guy. Like love him or hate him, he really does some interesting things. And I think
Mm,
definitely he really pushed as far as like crypto. He really used crypto in this election. Like he really pushed for that to try to lock in that vote to let people know, like, all right, he is here to support cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and the development of that industry. So a lot of people who are pro crypto, they kind of leaned and supported him. And I think him dropping his own coin was that's kind of like the icing on the cake for that. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Yeah, that was the first time I ever saw like a politician actually do that. Because usually politicians try to stay away from doing things like that.
but yeah, Donald Trump has definitely been, in this is not his first, crypto rodeo. I remember he had like NFT
Yeah,
and
yeah, the
stuff like
NFT trading
that.
cards.
So yeah, we definitely have a very pro crypto administration. So hopefully people that, like you said, love him or hate him, like just understand where the trends are. You know what I mean? And this show specifically is supposed to help you guys, reach your financial goals, financial freedom, all that stuff. So watch the trends. But one trend that I do want to go back to was NFTs. And do you think that NFTs are going to make a comeback, or do you think that was just a 2020 2021 thing and we're done with
I
that?
think I think NFTs can make a comeback, but I think it'll have to be done strategically. I think
Hmm.
a few companies or a few entities are going to do well with it because what was happening back in like 2020 and 2021, everyone was releasing an NFT. Like it was just kind of like just based on a bunch of hype.
Hmm.
Um, so what I think the NFTs that are going to do well in the future are going to be the ones that provide some sort of utility or value, right? I
Hmm.
always look at it like with music, right? With certain artists. If you have an artist who said, let's just drop an NFT, like don't just drop an NFT to drop an NFT to say you have it. Do it to where the holder of the NFT gets some sort of value or benefit from it.
Yeah.
All right, they get VIP access to 5 concerts a year or something, or they have access to a certain exclusive party or something. Like you have to make it so people want to hold it. Like I used the NFT one time. A friend sent it to me to get access into like an exclusive party. So the guys who had the NFT, they was hosting like a big party in the Bahamas, and the NFT got me into the party. So even though that might not have been something I might have bought just as a novelty, that's something that it provided me with some sort of value.
Yeah.
So I think the NFTs that do that are going to be the ones that do well in the future, like where they provide some sort of value outside of just the novelty of, oh, I have a bored ape or I have a pudgy penguin or something like that. It's going to actually
Hmm.
have some sort of thing that benefits the holder.
Hmm. Yeah, you used a key word there, which is value. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to make sure that they get their money's worth, and just having. I personally never understood like the hype of NFTs. Like, really, the only NFT that I have is the Doge NFT, and that's it. I mean, because everything else just seemed just silly. You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, why am I buying? I guess quote unquote digital real estate for this picture. Like,
Yeah.
I'm cool with just a screenshot. You know what I mean? Like, but hey, hopefully NFTs do make a comeback, but do bring value because I know a lot of NFTs didn't bring value, and a lot of people that did create NFTs, they, such as Jake Paul, or not
Oh
Jake
yeah, that
Paul,
was a
Logan Paul,
disaster.
yeah, didn't deliver on their promise with NFTs, and that was a big that turned a lot of people off from NFTs.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
in terms of sticking kind of with the trends, obviously here, sooner or later, like the market's going to rip. We're going to go parabolic, like you said. We're expecting ETH to do some multiples. We're expecting, some big things. So there's obviously going to be FOMO involved. So how would you advise somebody who may be experiencing FOMO in this market?
Me and a friend had a conversation about this on a podcast actually. Um, for he was like, it's very hard not to have FOMO at a time like this because you're seeing people get rich off of Trump token. You're seeing stories of people losing $300 to get, $1 million and all that. So it's very hard to not get FOMO. But what you have to understand, and this is why I tell people about FOMO, a lot of that is kind of like one-off events. You know, um, they say about 99% of people lose when it comes to like trading. So when you look at like crypto, you have to be really careful and know what you're getting into. This is why I advise every beginner who starts out, when you go to coin market cap, you stick to those top 100. If you're just starting off, you don't have time to trade and all that, stick to those cryptos in the top 100, probably even top 50. You might not get as much, you might not get a 20x, 30x off them, but those are ones that, if you diversify your portfolio effectively, you can see gains and you can see results. But it's almost like if you don't know how to swim, it doesn't really make sense for you to just jump into the ocean and drown. Sometimes you gotta actually stay at the lower end of the pool, pace yourself, and learn like that. So I would say start off small. That's the number one thing I recommend. Start off small. Start off what you could afford to lose. When you invested in crypto, think of it as going.
Mm.
You know, don't think of it as like I gotta turn this $100 into $200 so I can pay this person this $200. Like no, no, no. Think of it as going. That's a wash. But that's why I tell people like just start off small. Um, Crypto is a lot of ironing and wrinkling. I mean, wrinkles that's being ironed out right now, especially like when you have a lot of regulation that's still being coming into place with that. It is a fairly new market, very very young new market. So be very careful with that. Um, yeah, but I understand FOMO. You reading all these headlines and stories and all that. Sometimes you just gotta ignore it. You just gotta ignore it.
You had mentioned you having to just be okay with just the loss. And so some of my editors, they put me in this, like, are really into crypto. They put me in this group chat on WhatsApp and whatnot. So like we, talk crypto here and there. And one of them was telling me, he told me he was up like, he put like 1,000 into Trump, and and at the time, mind you, this was maybe a week or two ago, he was talking about, oh, I'm up to like 3,000. I told him, I said, bro, if you were up, I'm telling you right now that this is more than likely a rug pull. Again, this is not financial
Yeah,
advice, but I was telling him that the tokenomics are bad. These are gonna rug. You
yeah.
should, if I was you, I would take
So
out $2,000. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
way,
That was
at the very minimum, you at the very minimum, if the rest goes to zero, you at least made a 50% return. And then if it doesn't, then you let the rest ride. And I was telling him that like the name of the game, because a lot of people get in this game, the crypto game, or even stocks or whatever, to make money, but at the end of the day, the name of the game is really to protect your capital. Like as long as you just don't lose the money, like you're winning, because you have to go from being not profitable, then to break even, then to being profitable. Like you said, you can't just be like, okay, I'm new to the game, everybody's talking about X, Y, and Z. Let me just jump in. Like, no, you're going to lose your money, guaranteed. Because that's what happened to me in 2020, in 2021. I actually was just looking at my Kraken the other day of when I suffered my first liquidation.
mm,
I got my whole account liquidated just being stupid.
yeah,
And that was just the first account. I got liquidated multiple times being stupid. I didn't learn my lesson. But now I have, and now I don't trade on leverage. I just do spot everything. It just been a lot easier for me to just manage my emotions and manage my FOMO not being on leverage. You know what I mean? Because that's just what works for me. Everybody got to figure out what works for them. Maybe some people are, better off using leverage or low leverage, high leverage, whatever. But that's what I just found works for me. But you did talk about uh, sticking to the top, like I think you said 100 coins or top, 50 coins. And that's good. I'm glad that you had mentioned that, because, once you go lower than that, you're getting a little degenerate. But if somebody is
yeah,
new
yeah.
and they're looking at like these top 50, top 100 coins, I mean, they don't know what they're looking at. So what is something that they should be looking at when they're looking at these top coins?
All right, so you want something that has a lot of like history behind it. You sometimes you don't want to jump. You don't want to jump into a new fad. Even I'm not saying never invest into a new coin that's surging because sometimes I would say I put a little small percentage in, just play with it. But you want something that has like because a lot of these crypto coins, I tell people this: 99% of them are just I hate for lack of a better word, they're trash, right? They don't have no value, right? Then you have like the 1% who are like connected either to companies or brands where they're actually doing real stuff in the community. So if you look at a company like we brought the example of XRP, is connected to Ripple. You know, when you look at that, they have partnerships with a lot of banks and all that, a lot of financial institutions. Financial institutions use XRP. They're starting to use it for transactions. So it's like, all right, you could kind of put your faith that hey, it has some sort of like real
Utility. Yeah.
yeah utility. That's the word I was looking for. I'm glad you said that. That's pretty much you want to find something that has real life utility, real life use, and those are the coins where you probably want to stay with, you know, because you don't just want to go investing in any coin just because it has a catchy name or a nice logo. But when you look at, you don't know who the team is. You can't even tell who the team behind the token is. You know, you don't even know like what's the plan for the token. Unless you're talking about Dogecoin, was created as a joke. Most of these coins actually have like a white paper, whereas they have a roadmap of what they intend to do. So yeah, I always say that look for a visible team, pay attention to utility stuff like that. That's things which you have to consider whenever investing
Hmm.
and market caps, all of that, because everyone like there's this thing, and I have to make a video explaining this to a lot of people. When people see a lot of zeros before like 0.0001, people buy a bunch and it's like, all right, what if this goes to $1, right? And I'm like, you're not taking into consideration that it has 150 million market cap. Like you have to pay attention to the market cap more so than the price itself.
Yeah.
So a lot of people they don't even know how to do look at stuff like that. So there's a lot of those basics which you have to consider.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that you can talk that you can do on Coin Market Cap, like if you're watching this and you do see something that has a whole bunch of zeros and it's kind of hard for you to like kind of figure out like what that means price wise, you could switch the chart from price like based on dollar amounts to market cap to just to make it easier. Because I mean, if something has like 6 or 7 zeros for it to get to $1, we're talking about like 100,000x, and it's not going to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not going to do that.
I don't know if you remember when Terra Luna collapsed.
Oh, of course I remember when Terra
Yeah.
Luna collapsed. That was
So
crazy.
the price was trading at like either pennies or below pennies, and this guy made a video talking about just buy a bunch, just in case it hits $1. And I had to make like a rebuttal video to it, and it was like the amount he is saying for that to hit $1, that essentially has to surpass the market cap of the entire crypto market itself. And it's like that's not gonna happen. Like that's not gonna
Exactly.
happen because they was only paying attention to the price, and you have to pay attention to the market cap as well.
Yeah, folks don't be paying attention to the market cap and the fully diluted market cap. Like these are, just different nuggets and tools that, if you're watching this, like, really pay attention to in terms of the projects that you look into. But another key thing, especially when investing into crypto, is not your keys, not your coins. Do you want to explain that concept to the people?
All right. So when you hold your crypto on an exchange, right? Remember that that exchange at that moment owns your cryptocurrency. They have your private keys, so they own your cryptocurrency. A lot of y'all remember the situation with FTX. A lot of people who held their money on FTX are still trying to get their money back from FTX because technically it's like FTX is holding the money. So when you don't have access to your private keys, you don't have access to your crypto necessarily. Um, if I was to get Myles' private keys, I have access to his crypto. I can find a way to access his accounts and send that crypto either myself or somebody else. So I always tell people your public keys are like your bank account number. If I want to send you money, I need your bank account number, either transit number, or so I can send it to your bank, right? um, you think of your private keys as like your PIN number. You know, nobody's supposed to know your PIN number except you. So that's the way how we look at it. That's the way how I like to tell people to look at it. You know.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. He hit the nail on the head on that one. Make sure that you have your keys, man. Like, Coinbase is cool, and I'm not going to act like I don't use Coinbase and keep some of my crypto on Coinbase, but I only keep like a percentage on there that I plan on like selling in the immediate future, like within the year or two when the bear market comes. And I'm just gonna be buying stuff. Especially that's typically when things go belly up, anyways, is in the bear
Yeah.
market. So that's when I'm going to be using hot wallets, and I also have a Trezor wallet as well, like a cold, like a
Yeah.
physical wallet. That's pretty much the safest way to keep your coins safe.
Yeah. I tell people, um, if you have a certain amount of money, like a large sum of money, and keep in mind, a lot of people, a largest sum will be different for different individuals. For
Right.
some people, 1,000 will be a large sum of money to store away. For others, it'll be 100,000 to store away. So I always tell people, if you have a large sum of money, you want to keep that safe, get a hardware wallet. That's the best way. You know, that's the best way to store that. Don't keep that on an exchange because you can get hacked. Remember, not your keys, not your coins. You got to be careful, even like transfer the different wallets and all that stuff like that. You got to be very careful of.
Exactly. Like anytime I move my coins, I always send just a little bit at a time just to make sure I get there before I
Oh
send the
yeah,
whole lump sum. Because I'll be damned to send 10,000, 15,000, and I think it's gonna get there, and it doesn't. I've done that before. Not wasn't that much money, but I have sent, coins that I was thought was gonna get there, and then maybe I forgot to add the memo or some bullshit, and then boom, lost all
yeah.
my money for no reason. So, yeah, these are just lessons that you will pick up as you start investing in crypto. But we talked about off camera, and let me know that you're a financial analyst, and so I'm sure that you work with different individuals that are investing in different assets. I know we've mainly been covering crypto, but what are like some other things that you have seen people invest in that might be a little less risky, but also have decent returns?
All right, so um, something you like a lot of equities, believe it or not. I don't know what it is. Like a lot of people some people kind of forgot about equities since this whole crypto boom has come. Um, is when you look at a lot of like equities, it's kind of easy to find certain companies that are expected to do well in the
Mm,
years coming. So you have companies that are like heavy into tech and all that. Even though Nvidia just had a price decrease, is recovering since the whole DeepSeek announcement, all that.
yep.
But a lot of companies are based around like technology, AI. Um, those are like kind of hit and miss because with tech stocks, a lot of their value comes from like their projected growth, not necessarily the revenue they're earning now. It's just that like if they get a breakthrough with a new pattern or something, that would be something that will definitely boost the stock, boost the investors' interest in it. So I say look at a lot of tech stocks. Those are things that you have to consider. And when you look at like what's happening in the economy, you have to pay attention to either type of company that will benefit in the economy. And you have certain companies like they used to call it like FANG, like Meta and all that. Um, those companies, like this is what I'm gonna say here. Every company where the CEO is in good with Donald Trump right now, I would consider having in my portfolio. Like I'm not saying this is not financial advice, but I don't know if you realize like there has been like a kind of push for a lot of certain CEOs to publicly congratulate Donald Trump. So I think a lot of them are starting to use this administration right now to grow. Like this is where they're gonna have favorable regulation for some of them, and a lot of them they're gonna have to basically play ball. So I would say look into a lot of those companies.
Yeah, just pretty much look at the trends. See people who people are endorsing, people in power, what they're doing. That's what I typically like to do. Just follow what the people who have money, like I'm talking about billions of dollars, what they're doing, and what they're investing in. Not necessarily like, oh, what is in their like actual portfolio, but just look and see what different industries that they're investing in, whether it's tech, AI, whatever. That's what I like to do too. You want to follow
Because
the trend, and not only follow the trend, but try and catch it before like everybody else catches on.
yeah, because you brought up a good point when you talking about the psychology of investing, like how a lot of people, a lot of investing now,
Mhm.
I think psychology is playing a bigger role than it have as ever done before, and I think we're seeing that like in real time. Um, what I mean by the psychology of it is just by perceived value by certain partnerships and relationships. I think the perceive, like, they say perception is reality. Just by seeing
Absolutely.
certain CEOs taking a picture together, some that can move stocks, and where we live in the social media age where information is moving so fast is like a lot of like what's going on. What is possible now was impossible about 50 years ago as far as investing. So yeah, those is all type of nuances when it comes to it.
Hmm. Yeah, bringing up perceived value, that's a major key. That these that's something that I had to really wrap my head around when I first started getting into investing in 2020. Is that it's not necessarily about is the company good. Obviously, you want to invest in a good company, or else they may go bankrupt and it'll collapse. You lose all your money. However, at the end of the day, what moves the price is volume and people buying. So
Mm.
even if it's just a bunch of hype, even if it's overhyped, it really doesn't matter. It's just basic supply and demand. So even if the perceived value of said company is higher than what it should be, then hey, like it is what it is. The price is gonna fly. So you might want to get in, just based off of perceived value.
Yeah, because you have some companies right now. If they was to, let's give use an imaginary company, right? Let's say you have a imaginary firm that started and is listed on a stock exchange. If they announce, let's say, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg as on their board of directors, you're gonna see the value for that company regardless of what they make. You may see the value of that company significantly increase just by being connected to those individuals.
Yep.
Um, just by the perceived value of having those individuals on the team. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's what a lot of it is. Buying is a psychology behind it.
So I want to ask you, what are some key habits that separate financially successful people from those that struggle with money?
Um, I would say is a habit is something that separates most people in almost every aspect of life. I would say discipline, consistency, and discipline. Like consistency is like people always say consistency is better than intensity. It's when you consistently do something like either whether it's your spending habits, budgeting, and all that, or investing is almost like a muscle. When you consistently do it, it it like gets better and better over time. Like for example, like you do the podcast, right? Um,
Yep.
Let me ask you a question. When you first did your podcast, were you a little nervous, like your first ever episode?
Absolutely. I didn't know what I was doing in my first episode.
Yeah, but as you kept doing it, it started to become more natural to you. So
Hmm.
like when you look at like investing, if you start dollar cost averaging into, let's say like every time you get paid, I'm gonna take 10% of my funds, before I spend it on whatever, before I buy stuff I really don't need, I'm gonna take this 10% and invest it. Um,
Hmm.
you consistently do that. That's gonna create like a nest egg for you, and it's gonna get to the point where you didn't even realize you had all this money stored away. So for example, if you start aggressively investing, let's say now in January, by the time Christmas comes, you will have some extra money for Christmas shopping. You could do what you want. You might be able to take a vacation, stuff like that. And when you really think about it, you might have been able to do that without limiting or prohibiting yourself as much as you thought you would have throughout the year. So I would say just consistency and discipline. That's two things I think. Not even just with being financially successful, just in life, and also something that's very underrated: information. Um, like if you're trying to let's do this like with fitness, right? Um, I lost not to get too off topic, but I lost about 60 pounds over the past like year or so, right? And a
Hmm.
lot of it was
Congrats.
just information, just all right. When you're drinking this, you're drinking X amount of calories. when you're eating this, even though it's not really filling you, you're filling yourself up with calories. Like when I started being more conscious and making more conscious, deliberate decisions, I started losing more weight. You see, so I always tell people it's kind of like that. If you could apply that to your financial situation, the same way you apply like it to your health and other aspects of your life, you will notice a huge shift. So I would say consistency, discipline, information. That's other things, but those three things, like just what stand out to me.
Hmm. Yeah, and the thing is that you mentioned, like just tying everything together. You mentioned that you lost, 60 pounds in a year, and you lost that obviously over time, and you had to be consistent in order to see results. Like we live in a day and age where everybody's attention span is lower. They want to, just consume Instagram reels, TikToks, and all kind of stuff, and don't people don't understand that like results take time. Like that's why like with this and you brought up podcasting with the podcast, like I knew that this is going to be hard. And originally, I actually, when I first started this, I was only going to do a show every other week. So I was going to do 2 shows a month because I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to book consistent guests, to be honest. That's
Yeah.
why. And then I built up a backlog, and I was like, and I started posting. And then the next week came, and I was like, you know what? What if I just do weekly, and if I just can't do it, then I'll just switch to bi-weekly. And I haven't missed a single Thursday since. And that's just been consistency. I'm about to get monetized really soon. But like consistency definitely will be intensity every single time because you can't keep the same intensity up forever. You know what I mean?
No.
You're going to get tired. And then that's when consistency wins. So, all right, man. Can you tell me more about your podcast? You have a podcast called Cryptonoobz, I believe. So, can you tell us just a little bit more about that? What you talk about?
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of Cryptonoobz. The founder is my friend Nelson Ricardo.x. We try to do an episode at least weekly, and we do consistent updates on our Instagram and social media, and we post our podcast episodes YouTube. So where we cover cryptocurrency, what's going on in the market, and we provide insights, but a lot of it is actually based around education for individuals. That's why we call it crypto noobs, because everyone, when they start, they're noob. So we do it where we're providing information to anybody who we want to package it and create it in a way where if you don't know anything about crypto, you'll be able to follow us and understand, and you could go from learning about Bitcoin to investing, or even if you don't want to invest in crypto, crypto is still something you need to know about. It's changing a lot of industries, especially if you work in certain fields. It's something that you have to be aware of, because when these conversations are happening, you don't want to be the one that's left out or you don't know what's going on. So it isn't just, oh, we're teaching people how to invest. We're providing information as well as teaching them if they want to invest, what to look for, strategies to use, stuff like
Hmm.
that. And we're also building a community of individuals who want to get into crypto. We have a thriving community right now, so we're really proud of that. And we're throwing live events. We already threw a few live events.
So,
We
I
held
feel
some
that.
live webinars. So yeah, we're locked in.
Hmm. That's what's up. That's awesome, man. So, in terms of, so you had mentioned this a few times on the pod about like information, and I'm sure that you guys are getting your information from somewhere, and then you're making your own content, posting on YouTube and all the other platforms. But like, where would you say the most accurate information, or maybe a better word is reliable information is about crypto out there?
Um, Boy, that's a good question because there is so much like false information out there. From a personal standpoint, I just like to read different articles. So let's say if it's something I'm talking about or we're discussing, we personally I like to read like at least about 4 to 5 articles on it, so I kind of get a general gist of what's going on, because that way you avoid certain biases when you're talking about certain topics. But I would just say go to Google, go to Cointelegraph, stuff like that. Cointelegraph is really good. They have a lot. They keep you updated on what's going on as far as information. You go to Yahoo Finance. I love to watch Yahoo Finance where they talk about crypto because you look at it from a more corporate or more institutional standpoint as well and see how it's affecting larger markets. You don't just want to look at crypto in a bubble. You want to see how the rippling effect it have throughout all industries. So yeah, that's what I like to do. Um, then if you really want to learn, just follow us.
Of
Just follow
course.
us on Instagram. Follow at crypto_Lambo and just shoot me a message.
For sure, for sure. Hey man, thank you, Lamont, so much for coming on the podcast, man. Greatly appreciate you for having for coming on. But before we close out, is there anything you want to leave the audience with?
Remember, not your keys, not your coins. Be very careful when jumping into crypto. Remember, this is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Um, that's all you gotta remember. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't go trying to flip some on a 100x token overnight and get rug pulled. Just be careful and stay aware of what's going on.
Absolutely. Once again, Lamont, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Where can the people find you at?
You can follow me on Instagram at crypto_Lambo, or you could just follow us at Cryptonoobz edu on Instagram.
Thank you. Appreciate that. We're gonna put that on the screen as well as put it in the show notes. Hope you guys learned something today. Get you some crypto before it's too late. Until next time. Peace.